Well, here I'm sitting to talk about capacity building in HR with emerging technologies. Now, most of the people have worked on metaverse, about Web3. There are so many things they're working on, but application of emerging technologies on HR, this is something far behind, especially like we are from third world country, right? And most of the countries, not even just our country, but there are a number of countries who are incapable of, articulating these valuable and, emerging technologies within the domain of HR. So now, here I'll start with. First thing first, I would like to talk about the issues. What kind of issues, what HR or our workforce are, facing right at this point of time within our corporate sector? Just because of an unorganized data, because most of the companies, there are small or medium-sized companies, so they cannot afford to have a data scientist. And as per our research, their data scientists, they spend around 60% of their time only in, just identifying data. That is done through machine learning, the data scientists, what they do. And obviously, it's not possible for everyone to, be a coder, to learn, those statistical tools and those softwares like Miniconda, and there are the Python language that includes Miniconda and multiple things, so they cannot hire those people. If we count the number of companies, there would be hardly maybe you can say 30 or 40 companies, big size companies, who are implementing on research and development, who have got the data scientists to, skim through the data. So first, I'll talk about the challenges, what people are facing right at this point of time. They're facing tremendous amount of fatigue because of the reason they have got unorganized data. They cannot meet up their timelines, due to which they are having, issues in work-life balance. Their mental health is effectively, impacting badly. So what we can do is we can use technological innovations by eliminating human errors, because human can make errors, but machine can't. Here, I would like to give an example, even though this is because I do have a background of data mining and analyzing bigger data. GANs is a program that is basically, that stands for generative and neurosensory networks. And there was a test learning thing that was run by artificial intelligence, AI algorithms, and that leads to voice cloning. Now, if I'm talking right at this point of time, okay, and I keep on talking for another 10 minutes or 5 minutes, so the turning test or that specific software that will, identify, and it will actually clone my voice, and it can talk to anybody by using my voice. So this issue was resolved by GANs that I have already mentioned about the software. Then, here, when it comes to human issues or employee-based issues, we have to address their basic issues. Currently in small size organization, as I have mentioned earlier, that there are even less than 5 or maybe hardly 10% of the organization who have got ample budget to hire data scientists. Rest of the people are facing the issues of their well-being, their belongingness towards the organization. That's why they keep on hopping. Job security, psychological issues. There are multiple issues that they are actually having. Now, the next thing is how to increase our capacity building. First thing first, we need to learn that what is our target audience? Who are the people for which we need to work in terms of, why we need to bring on these, interventions and technology. The first thing is people management. Most of the people, they work in teams. Sometimes they have biased PMS. I'll also talk about it later on in my next slide when I'll talk about it. So, the higher management is actually incapable of managing people performances. So for that, they need to, they spend a lot of money on training and development or these kind of practices without any kind of hypothesis testing. Just go with the surveys, TNAs and stuff, the conventional way of, doing things. But it's kind of useless because the company is losing money. The second thing is learning and development. Most of the companies don't invest that much amount of money or the learning and development. But again, when it comes to learning and development or OD interventions, again, they have to bring the transformation by changing the way of training people. And how they can do it by actually identify the gap or doing the right gap analysis. Now, most of the HR people don't even know how to use those kind of softwares through which you can do hypothesis testing, and you can actually identify the gaps for specific targeted set of people. It's not just some kind of exercise that you have to do, there are a bunch of 25 people. There is an organization of around 20,000 people, and to do your training and development part, you will use the same topic, because this is something what I have experienced when I worked with a company, a very weird around company, having more than 35,000 workforce all over the country. So they use the same topic without identifying the gap. So there was no learning and development. The third thing about diversity and inclusion. Now, this is a new concept. This is transformation. People get to learn a lot when people come from diversified background. When we hire the right people on right place through diversified background, this is my observation, as well as the time I work with, international based clients or international based organization, I get to learn a lot from the people who were from different backgrounds, because they used to share their own experiences. So we need to bring in change, and how we can, significantly transform all of these things by basically automating the issues, the processes, and catering the issues, and minimizing the human error. This will ease out the people. It will improve their learning efficacy. It will improve employee efficacy. It will cut down your costs. And how this will be done, I'll explain it into the next slide. So now here are 4 emerging technologies on which companies are, looking forward to work on. First one is augmented analysis. Now, as I have mentioned earlier, there's a lot of data. Most of the people are incapable of, most of the organization are incapable of hiring data scientists, because every person cannot have, by majors of HR along with, data sciences. Because in that case, one need to know about the GANs, about CNN, AlphaGo, OpenAI, and turning test, and multiple things. It would be hard to explain right at this point of time, but I'll focus on that augmented analysis. Now, what augmented analysis will do is that it will smartly minimize the data. Here, I would like to share a fact that every day there is 2.5 quadrillion bytes data generated. Unorganized data is being generated every single day. Now you can imagine how difficult it is for a data scientist to work on it. And as I have mentioned earlier, that 16% of their time is being, utilized by, just what you can call it, effectively, use the machine learning to predict the data. So by if we will integrate augmented analytics within HR, what it will do is that it will give data, minimized data. There is natural language processing that is within augmented analytics. It actually translates the machine data into English or the language you're using, then interpret the issues, and then again transform it into a small size data, a precise data that actually helps the organization to face a different kind of challenges and give a scalability, and helps the organization to cut down their costs. So by just, integration of augmented analytics within this domain, within HR, we can cut down the cost, as well as we will have the usable data, the data that can be interpreted by the employees. The second one is sensing technology. Okay. Now, in international-based organization, they are using the sensing technology, where without speaking up anything, there are machines that can sense who is on the table, who is on the desk, who is performing, who's not, who is actually communicating, or whatsoever kind of, communication that is going on within the teams. It will actually, what kind of emojis they use. It will actually sense that, and it can interpret that what kind of environment we are having right at this point of time. If the environment is not good, HR can take actions to improve the things, or to improve employee performance. If they're unhappy, they can sense that. So by just using these sensors, integrating these sensors, we can again increase the efficacy. The third one is prediction capabilities. In terms of prediction capabilities, companies are again working over it, even though Like this is a machine-driven advanced analytical technology that is emerging, and it can actually plan things time ahead. You can actually forecast the issue. For instance, if it comes to recruitment or hiring, so you can actually, through prediction capabilities, you can identify that who are the people who are not the key performers, and you can do the redundancy, and you can create the successors. You can have, you can already plan different mentorship programs for the people, or you can bring in the new talent for the people. So prediction capability gives a scenario, an adaptive scenario that everybody can adapt to, and it can bring rapid change. Like, for instance, a senior manager is leaving. You can sense that. As on the second point, I have mentioned about the sensing technology, or augmented, on the first point about the augmented analysis. You can sense that the person is not happy, the person is not communicating with other people, and he is there's a lot of there's a high rate of absenteeism, and they are about to leave the organization. So you can predict it, and you can bring a successor. And we already have so many suitable sourcing chains, just like LinkedIn. That is the most authenticated, I believe. As TML practitioner, I would say LinkedIn is best of all. Sourcing chains, just like LinkedIn. That is the most authenticated, I believe. As TML practitioner, I would
Fatima,
say,
if you can mute the YouTube browser because it's kind of echo.
Just like LinkedIn. Sorry, I can hear my voice. Please.
I mean, if you are in the metaverse itself, you can mute the browser itself because it seems like there is an echo.
Yeah, exactly. There is an echo. Please. If you'll have this issue again, just tell me, okay?
Okay, sure.
So, the fourth one. Can you again hear my echo? Voice echo? Is it fine now?
Yes, it is. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, good to go. Now, using blockchain for transformation. Now, there's something, I have multiple ideas on blockchain to for the sake of transformation, on which we plan to work on and we are working on. I'm designing a module for it. If we add on blockchain structure, for example, I'll give you an example, okay? If it comes to PMS, performance management system, and if we integrate our blockchain are like, train-like structure, and every box is called cryptographic hash. Okay, so now if on the back end, not on the graphical interface, because obviously only the higher management, certain people will have this graphic access to back-end data, but obviously they won't be working on it. But is HR practitioner sitting with AI specialist or data scientist, or if I have the ample knowledge about it, I'll collaborate with them, work with them, and by sitting with the team managers, they'll devise their KPIs. Then the higher management will approve the KPIs of that team, the project they are doing, according to the timelines. And we will automate the system. And how we'll automate the system? By achieving every task or KPI, okay? Within that timeline, every single cryptographic hash will add on into that system. And by the end of quarter, now it depends upon the management. If they want to, warn someone, or, they want to have, HR want to have an interview with the people who are working right over there, so they can talk to them. Just with a click, you can see a train-like pattern or the structure. The people who would be the highest achiever, the highest performer, they'll have the maximum cryptographic hashes. Then we can separate them, like 20% would be the top performer. This could be the criteria. Then the remaining 40% would be the people who are working well, but not extraordinary. And the third one, who are the low performer. Just with a click, you will get the report. And the people who are having the maximum amount of cryptographic hashes, you can actually nominate them as top performer, medium performer, and key performer, through which you can do the redundancy. This is one way. Now, coming towards, if I give an example of talent management and learning, when you have to hire, because obviously there is a specific hiring cost, and tentatively it takes around 60 days to hire a new incumbent, from the sourcing till up to the endpoint, till up to the time of orientation. So in that case, what happened is that, we can reduce by using blockchain system. Again, artificial intelligence, blockchain and artificial intelligence, we can reduce it to 3 to 4 weeks. So the time will be reduced to 1/3 time. Okay. How this will happen? When people will fill up their consent form, when they'll apply for a job, then in that case, they'll fill up a form. And if their degrees are okay, they don't have any criminal records, their certifications or everything is perfectly fine, obviously they sign up, they agree to it, and then they submit the application. So when we will get the applications through that system, then by using the authorities who can cross-verify their credentials, once they'll say okay about it, just with a click, you just need to collaborate with them, integrate them into the system, and you'll get the right people on the right platform, and you're good to go with the interview sessions. It will reduce or minimize the time. So that's how, blockchain, and there is much more to talk about. We can integrate into SAP, into cloud computing system. We can Oracle, organizational internal HRIS system, if it is encrypted. But all of these systems should be encrypted. So we can actually integrate the blockchain within the domain of HR. So that's how things are. But if it's not somehow applicable at some places, like in Europe, if I talk about Hitachi group of companies, or if I talk about the people who are working in Germany, you have must heard about Jira, where they're supposed to, in Europe, this is a practice in most of the organization, where when the session is, when by the end of the day, they have to document, because I have used Jira as well. So you have to document all of your KPIs, what you have done today. So that is not applicable. Blockchain might not be applicable over there. Yeah, there are many hitches into it. People are trying their best, but we are also trying our best to use blockchain, artificial intelligence technology, to inculcate with HR to maximize these future challenges that HR is basically, having. Just to go give you an overview in a minute, by augmented analytics, sensing technology, then prediction capabilities, and blockchain, you can make wonders. And I've explained almost all of them. And if you have got any questions, please go ahead.